Bears fans, hey Chicago, what do you say, baby? Ben Johnson is a Chicago Bear. Who would have thought? Look at where we're at now. Who said we can't have nice things? We got our man. And not only did we get our man, we got the guy that everybody wanted. Ben mother effing Johnson. What a day it is to be a Chicago Bear. I'm not going to pinch you. We're not dreaming. This is real life. Yes, the Chicago Bears have hired Detroit Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson to be our head coach, the all-important man that's going to begin this next chapter of Bears history and shepherd Caleb Williams to hopefully many years of playoff runs and hopefully that ultimate hardware, a Lombardi, something that he wasn't able to do in Detroit. Let's hope we can get it in Chicago. Look at me. Look at me. A minute in, I'm already way ahead of my skis talking about Lombardis, but this is what I'm talking about, man. We got the most highly coveted guy in this round of coaching hires. What a day it is to be alive. What a day it is to be a Chicago Bear. I can't even listen. I want to say I'm shocked. I want to say I'm surprised. There's a lot of Bears fans out there that are. I have been saying this the entire time. There were breadcrumbs everywhere. Let's rewind the clock back to last year when Ben Johnson was taking interviews. He was actively taking interviews, and he pulled his name out right around the time that the Bears decided to retain Matt Eberflus, which was the wrong decision on our part. And I think that we all knew that. But right around that time when the Bears retained Matt Eberflus, Ben Johnson, of course, pulled his name out of the ranks. That was the first clue. And I never forgot about that, especially this year when it came around that, going into the year, we all, like Bears fans, knew it was a high possibility that if Matt Eberflus fucked this up and got fired, Ben Johnson was still out there. That dream was still alive. That was still possible. And we got him. We got him. Let's talk about some of the things that we've heard the last couple of days. Adam Schefter. Did you see how passionately he came out and pounded the table? Why is everybody disregarding Chicago? Why are we forgetting about Chicago? I didn't see an ounce of news out there that was real that showed any reason or any real credible source say that Ben Johnson is not interested in the Chicago job. All we heard the last couple of weeks, or the last couple of days, I should say, week and a half, Bears fans starting to panic because there was a lot of smoke around the Raiders and Ben Johnson. But guess what? That smoke was the Raiders being enamored with Ben Johnson. It wasn't Ben Johnson being enamored with the Raiders. Why would he be? There's nothing to be enamored about other than the badge, other than the black and silver, right? There's nothing on that roster besides Brock Bowers, the defensive end Max Crosby, who is all world. He's incredible, but guess what? He's going to get traded. They're going to scrap him for pieces and assets. No sense paying a player like that when your team is dog shit. You don't have a quarterback, and you need every pick you can get to build that roster. Now that Ben Johnson is removed from that pool that they can select from, who's going to go there? Tom Brady certainly made his best effort. I don't know who they're going to get, but this is not about Vegas. I don't care. Good luck. Good luck. The Chicago Bears, we got our man. I was saying the other day, because I could see it. You could just see it. As time started to wear on, and as more people fired their coaches, as more people entered the race for Ben Johnson, Bears fans starting to get nervous. We're the Bears. We're going to Bears this up. And normally we would, right? There's no reason why we wouldn't. We continue to do that. Enter the wild card, Kevin Warren. Kevin Warren has never been involved in this. You can see in his interviews, you can see in his presence, he brings some structure, he brings some confidence, he brings some absolute alpha energy, which we've needed. He was not going to let this happen. Ryan Poles, absolutely on the hot seat. But I'm hoping, because we've heard, Ben Johnson was willing to work with Ryan Poles. There's been conflicting reports, but I've seen the one where he said it's not a deal breaker if Poles stays. It's not a deal breaker. There were some people saying that he would prefer to pick his own GM. No shit. Which head coach would not prefer to pick their own GM? But it wasn't a deal breaker. The biggest thing I said, the other day, Caleb Williams came out on the Amon-Ra St. Brown podcast and was glowing. This dude was blushing when it came to Ben Johnson. It's even more telling now if you go back and listen to that again after we know that we got Ben Johnson. The writing's on the wall. Listen to these guys talk. It almost felt like Amon-Ra knew that was coming. Caleb certainly did, because why would he go on that podcast and do that? I don't think a rookie, a guy just coming out of his rookie year, is going to be given or even have the audacity to do something like that when the Bears are actively interviewing candidates. It sounds like he had some sense of direction from the organization and he was bought in. And if I'm Caleb Williams, I tell you what, I'm way more excited about this than even I am and Bears fans are, because Caleb Williams, let's be honest, he didn't meet, I don't think he blew out our expectations. I don't think he played worse than what I expected. But I think coming out of this rookie campaign, you can't write him off, but you also can't say he's, performed to a Jaden Daniels standard or level, because Jaden Daniels right now is looking incredible. But guess what? Look at Cliff Kingsbury and look at a team that can coach and understands game planning and putting your players in a position to win, a position to accentuate their strengths so that they can excel and perform well. This whole season, I can't think of maybe one game that had a game plan where I'm like, wow, this is really putting Caleb in a position where he's thriving. I am so looking forward to seeing Ben Johnson do that next year with Caleb. He's got so much more talent than Jared Goff. I'm sorry, but he does, and you could see that. Ben Johnson knows that. He's talking about the ball whistling when Caleb throws it. As soon as I heard that, I knew he was impressed and he was infatuated with Caleb Williams. Who isn't? Look at Mike McCarthy. This man threw himself at the Bears. He tried everything he could to get the Bears to jump on him, right? Nobody likes the desperate chick. Mike McCarthy certainly is not scraping the barrel. He's qualified. He's good, but he's just good. Now, I can't say we know what Ben Johnson will be or is, but we know for the last 3 years that Detroit Lions offense has looked awfully damn good. And if he can replicate that in Chicago with perhaps the most talented quarterback he's ever worked with, you've got DJ Moore and Rome Odunze. When you walk into the building, those people are on your roster. You've got DeAndre Swift. You've got Cole Kmet. That's 4 pieces of your offense that you don't need to go draft or you don't need to go sign. And those are playmakers. I want to see him get way more out of Cole Kmet. I want to see us sign a battering ram running back, right? We need that. That element is missing from our team right now, and we need that. But most importantly, Ben Johnson, like the narrative is insane. Like the last people starting to shit on Chicago. Okay, yes, the organization piece. Yes, okay, you're right. But guess what? Be real. Be real. If you were a head coach and you were looking at options and you had to pick between the Jacksonville Jaguars, who have a quarterback who up and down, he absolutely has ability, but up and down, and you've already paid him. So you're hamstrung on the cap. The division's winnable, though, quickly. You're looking at Vegas, where without a doubt, you're the worst team in that division, and there is no clear path to you not being the worst team in that division. Denver's only going to get better. The Chargers are only going to get better. And the Chiefs are on a dynasty run. As long as Pat Mahomes is playing, and as long as Andy Reid is coaching, they're winning that division, more likely than not. In Chicago, there's an argument to be made. Absolutely. It's a tough division. But by hiring Ben Johnson, you're hiring a guy who knows the division and has lit up the division offensively. He knows the division like the back of his hand. You're not only improving the Chicago Bears, you're worsening the Detroit Lions, taking their offensive coordinator. Good luck finding a coordinator that's going to make Jared Goff look as good as Ben Johnson did. They're going to lose their defensive coordinator almost certainly. I have friends that are Vikings fans. They all knew this was fool's gold. I told them, I'm like, hey, Kevin O'Connell, man, great head coach. Brian Flores, defensive coordinator, you guys might do something this year. And they all knew that Sam Darnold was fool's gold. And I don't think any of them have any real hope that if they keep Sam Darnold, they're going anywhere. They were really good this year, and maybe they can get better. But I think if we're all being real, Sam Darnold's got to prove that he's better than what we saw in those playoffs game in the playoffs, because he had a whole year of effort and performance that was completely forgotten in 60 minutes last weekend. And then you got the Packers, who, correct me if I'm wrong, I take great pleasure in saying this. I don't think they're 100% sold on Jordan Love. I'm a Bears fan. I love saying that. I think that dude throws off his back foot more than Caleb Williams does. Arm talent, sure. He's got arm talent. He's got a lot of it. but damn, will he throw that ball away. I don't mean the smart throw the ball away when it's out of bounds. I mean, he'll give that ball to the other team. And, I did see some people coming out on local Chicago radio poo-pooing the idea of Ben Johnson a little bit, and they were 100% headed the direction of Todd Monken, which I'll be honest, if we didn't get Ben Johnson, I would have preferred Todd Monken over McCarthy. I mean, if you watched that Ravens game yesterday, I mean, that play calling was pretty good, pretty creative, but like most importantly, how many times did Lamar throw the ball to a wide open man? Guys don't just get wide open like that. That's a scheme. Granted, it's probably pretty easy to scheme for Lamar Jackson when you've got Derrick Henry to hand the ball to also. But I think Todd Monken was a viable candidate. But these guys were shitting on Ben Johnson, the reverse throw that Jameson Williams threw an interception on. But what are you going to do? Like, be honest. Let's just be honest. If you're the Detroit Lions, if you didn't watch the game, if you're a fan of the Detroit Lions, fan of anyone, and I told you the Detroit Lions gave up 45 points yesterday, do you expect that they won that football game? In any game ever, even in the regular season, if I told you a team gave up 45 points, do you think that they won that game if they gave up 45 points? Hell no. And it's an unrealistic standard to be able to outscore your opponent if you're giving up 45 points a game. Not saying they did a game, but they did that game. Or combine that with the fact that they turned the ball over 5 times. You've got Jared Goff just giving the ball away, throwing pick sixes. And you've got Jameson Williams, who's coached to throw the ball away if that's not there. He throws it anyways, throws an interception. I don't put that on Ben Johnson. If you're calling the game, your quarterback throws the ball, you throw 4 interceptions, what's Ben Johnson to do? And they gave up 45 points because one of those interceptions was a pick six. It's not on Ben. This dude's putting up 30 points every time he's in the playoffs. Okay? I'm excited to see what Ben Johnson can do with this team. And more importantly, I think beyond the Ben Johnson thing, beyond the Caleb thing, the Chicago Bears as an organization, way to impress us and way to make us happy. Finally, it feels like we're doing something right. And finally, you can say that the Bears moved quickest on the market. They made the best move of all the teams that are looking for a head coach, and they acted decisively. They jumped on the man that they wanted, snapped him up. Now everybody else is going to have to react to that, find a new candidate if they were going after Ben. Not only that, Ben's going to be able to fill his team pretty quickly, and it looks like we might get Dennis Allen as a defensive coordinator, which I love. A man who's had head coaching experience, and he gets that experience. He's not been a good head coach, but he gets those jobs because he's a kick-ass defensive coordinator. This guy's respected. I think if we do bring him in, we pair him with Ben, that's going to be an amazing partnership, and it's a smart move by Ben. Hopefully we can fill the rest of the coaching staff that way as well. If we can build in the trenches, which is absolutely number one priority. Look at the Detroit Lions a couple of years ago when we had the draft, or when the Bengals had the draft, and when the Bengals had the choice of selecting Jamar Chase or Penei Sewell, they took Jamar Chase. Lions took Penei Sewell. I mean, if that was the Lions, it's tough to say who they would have taken, but I kind of had a feeling they would have taken Penei Sewell anyways. And that is how you team build. Jamar Chase, probably the best receiver in the NFL. But Penei Sewell, that dude's probably the best off. Look, if he's not the best, he's top 5, absolutely. That's an organizational identity. They build in the trenches, and I hope that Ben Johnson brings that to Chicago. If we can do that, then the future is bright, and it's looking different. Things are looking different. Ryan Poles, thank you. Thank you. I've been very critical of some of the decisions that you've made over the years. Thank you, because no matter what, this is the obvious choice. Ben Johnson is the belle of the ball, and the Chicago Bears have acted quickly, and we got our man. We spent big. We went big game hunting. And most importantly, we won. We didn't lose out. We won, and now the future looks bright. I'm very excited. This offseason, we are flush with cash to hit the free agency market. We have a bunch of early draft capital that is going to help us so much if we can hit those picks. We've got to. The future's bright in Chicago. I'm telling you, it is. Very happy. All in all, I'm just proud of the Chicago Bears. I'm proud to be a fan today because for once we made the decision that made sense. The jury's out on Ben. We'll see how he performs, but I'm confident and I'm happy. As an organization, now it's not a day. It's a day after. No one expected the Lions to lose. And everybody's like, this is almost where I would give the Bears the most credit. Since the season's ended, everybody has given the Bears coaching search massive shit. Some of it's warranted. Some of it I think is just BS. Like, be real, okay? Last time when we hired Eberflus, the knock on Ryan Poles was that he wasn't judicious enough and he didn't do his due diligence. He gravitated to one man way too quickly. If you recall, Poles was hired and then Eberflus was hired within a couple of days after that. That's hardly enough time to run a real coaching search. Now we've learned there's some agency, complications and conflict of interest that may have led to that. But that was the knock. So what does Poles do this time? He interviews 19, 20 different candidates, and we all make fun of the Bears, and we all give them shit for it. National media, what are they doing? Why are they hiring all these people? Don't you think it helps to talk to all these people from different organizations, see how they're running things, see where things are completely different in Chicago and what needs to be fixed outside of just head coach? It's due diligence. And now we can make a decision hiring Ben Johnson and feel completely confident that we vetted at least 18 other candidates. We gathered intel. And if there was one person that was going to shock us and stand out and steer us away from Ben Johnson, at least we gave us the opportunity to find that person. It doesn't look like we did. I think early on, if we didn't get Johnson, I was in the Vrabel camp, but I think a lot of us were in the Vrabel camp. But Vrabel did us a favor by removing himself pretty dang quickly and ending up in New England. After Vrabel was gone, and really the one big fish was Ben Johnson, I feel like a lot of us started to panic. We started to think, well, we're the Bears. We're not going to really get Ben Johnson. Mike McCarthy might not be so bad now. Maybe Mike McCarthy, maybe we can justify him. Maybe we can bring this guy in on his third tread. No, thank you. No, thank you. And if there's any reason to love Ryan Poles and Kevin Warren more today, it's for saving us from the Mike McCarthy train. Thank you, because I could not have watched that. I am so glad that we acted competently within 2 days of the Lions surprisingly exiting the playoffs. We got that deal done with Ben Johnson. I'm pumped. I'm through the moon, beyond excited. Let's go. This year is going to be different. Listen, I've been excited about coaches before, and unfortunately, as Bears fans, we've been proved wrong many, many times, and we've fallen flat on our face. But for once, we hired the guy. For once, we hired what the rest of the league viewed as the Kyle Shanahan, right? We got the hot guy. We got the hot candidate. We brought him into our building. And boy, does he have an opportunity ahead of himself. You've got the city of Chicago begging for the Bears to be good. Just so you know, the Bears do run Chicago. I've got a Cubs hat on. But Chicago Bears, that is the team. That's what unites Chicago, right? You've got one hell of a chance with a first number one overall quarterback in Caleb Williams to make this city yours and to be legends and leave a legacy forever. Look at how we talk about Mike Ditka, Jim McMahon, all of these guys. How freaking long has it been? Since 85. Newsflash, I wasn't even alive for that. That's what we talk about. That's the glory days. You have a chance to become kings of the city. Caleb, if you turn out to be what we all hope you can, look at what that's done for Michael Jordan. Not comparing you to Michael Jordan, I'm just saying. This guy became the greatest basketball player to ever live in the city of Chicago. And he's a god. Caleb, if you can do anything remotely close as a quarterback for the Chicago Bears, I've got news for you, buddy. The future's bright. We've got a team that's ready to be built upon, and Ben Johnson, you have this offseason to leave a massive fingerprint on this organization through the draft and through free agency and through team building and through hiring a good staff. We need an offensive line coach that is worth his weight. We need top class. It looks like the McCaskies are tired of losing and tired of being made fun of. Not just them, but Kevin Warren. He doesn't want to be associated with that. Probably building a new stadium. There's a lot to be excited about. It's time to change. Chicago Bears, we look different now with Ben Johnson as our head coach. Can't wait to see what happens. If you are over the moon, like I am with the hire of Ben Johnson, like this video. And if you want more and you want to talk Bears, baby, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. There's going to be a lot more where that comes from, and we can all tune in and glory in it together. Excited. Thanks for listening. Bear down, baby. Let's go. Ben Johnson, Chicago Bears, Caleb Williams, to the moon. Let's go, baby.